Hey everybody, back with some more randomness. My buddy JustDaBears picked up a collection and he knows how much I love looking through stacks of stuff, so he sent me some things from it. Nice chunk of NBA, so I'll go through a decent amount of it here because there's a lot of cool stuff that fits into my 90s NBA collection. There's a Barkley, there's a Knicks versus Bulls card that I know for sure I don't have. Don't even have the regular one of this, but I was looking at the back and it's actually the Italian version of that. So Upper Deck that year had like the Italian set, the French, Spanish. I think that was the only year they did that for some reason. Got no hoops. Mark Jackson, I think that's a second year card. Maurice Cheeks. Bernard King with the bullets. Cool looking Xavier McDaniel art card. He did a really good interview on a channel I watch called Knicks Fan TV where he talked about his time with the Knicks and his whole contract situation and why he didn't come back and all that. Here's a Derek Harper with the Mavericks, but then on the back they have him with the Knicks. So yeah, that was the year that they got him, but for some reason they updated him on the back, but not the front. There's a Charles Smith will forever live in NBA infamy. Here are a couple of Stocktons that I'm pretty sure I don't have. Here are a couple of Pippins that I know I don't have. I mean, most of these that I'm showing, I'm pretty sure I don't have. Here's some 94-95 Ultra. Nice penny. Love me some old school Fleer Ultra. Isaiah Ryder. Doc Rivers. Hubert Davis. As I always say, the backs of these old Ultras always look really nice too. Like the back could easily qualify for the front of a really good set. Jim Jackson. Gugliotta. Hersey Hawkins. Nice Hakeem the Dream. And Reggie. Somebody posted an interesting stat recently about Reggie. It showed that he wasn't quite as successful at Madison Square Garden as people have convinced themselves that he was. In the regular season, he was like 13-30 or something like that. And even in the playoffs, he had like twice as many losses at the Garden as wins. But still, definitely an all-time legend. I'm not saying that he isn't. And I still have a lot of his cards in one of my binders. But just saying, even though he was a great shooter and was amazing to watch when he was in his zone, he just wasn't quite the unbeatable force at MSG that people like to think that he was. It's kind of a funny one, this Marty Conlon. Kind of an odd shooting form there. We're going to check out the back of that Ultra from 92-93. Del Curry. I think that might be a rookie card, or maybe not. Maybe that's second year. I mean, back then they didn't always say rookie, and even though they had stats for a few years, it didn't matter because sometimes guys would get rookie cards like after they'd already been in the league for like 2 or 3 years. These are definitely rookie cards. From Skybox, nice Kendall Gill. Solid player, he could score around 15 a game, and I think he led the league in steals one year when he was with the Nets. A Cliff Robinson rookie. Glad to get this because I traded for one of these a few weeks back on TCDB, but it was in really rough shape, so I'll replace it with this one. And yeah, just some more of this type of stuff that I love from that era. Some old Stadium Club, Rod Strickland, Sprewell. I think I have like 6 or 7 different binders of just a bunch of random players like this from that era. Sam Cassell rookie. That's a funny Clarence Weatherspoon. Kind of a funny look on his face. couple of Mitch Richmonds, definitely have several pages of him. Nice Flair USA, Joe Dumars. So yeah, just an awesome variety of stuff here. Cool looking Larry Nance, nice shot on that. Kenny Anderson and Dennis Scott. Kenny Anderson with the Hornets from his brief time there. Very quick pit stop there. I think he was there for like half a season. Very cool looking Sean Kemp Ultra Power insert. I think I might have this complete insert set. Can't quite remember though. At the very least, I had like a half dozen of them. Nice looking James Buddha Edwards. Really like this skybox set, 92, 93. Wouldn't want to like work on the set because it would take way too long. I only have like a handful of them. But if I could ever find that complete set at a good price, I'd consider getting it because I think that would be a fun binder set to have and look through. And yeah, just a lot more of this type of stuff. Got some Chris Mullins, D. Brown. Kind of a funny looking Dick Versace. Yeah, his last name is pronounced Versace. I'm not mispronouncing it like the girl from Showgirls. In this case, it's not Versace, it's Versace. But I remember him as an announcer on the NBC broadcast back then. Aaron McKee. He was a decent player. Went to the finals with the Iverson Sixers. Nice horizontal Tom Gugliotta there for Ben Martin. Now this was a really cool find in here. I already have one of these, but don't mind having another one. That's that Sam Vincent where it shows Jordan there wearing number 12. Because I believe it was his jersey was stolen, and kind of odd that they didn't have a backup, but he ended up having to wear number 12 for that game, and they captured it on that card there. Cool looking David Thompson. Love those Upper Deck retro sets for all sports from back then. There's a couple of cool looking rookies here. Brian Evans, who honestly I don't remember at all, but again, just kind of a nice looking rookie card. And then Bob Sura, who was a decent player for a few years. Scott Pollard, rookie. Really liked him when he was with the Kings. Good energy guy off the bench. Anton Jameson, Topps rookie. He had an underrated career. Jacques Vaughn, rookie. Another kind of funny face one. Sometimes it's fun to stack some of those funny face cards together and just look at them all at once. Cool looking Finest, Antoine Walker. Couple of Rasheed Wallace cards that I know I don't have. So again, we had some like early 90s, mid 90s. We're getting into the early 2000s. Chris Webber. So again, several of these guys are in my binders. There's a nice looking Wally Zerbiak for Mac Wax Stacks. That's one of his Mac guys. Nice Sprewell. Stephon Marbury with Phoenix, which I'm pretty back to collecting all Marbury cards again. He was a big side PC for me back in the day. Really like these Fleers. I wasn't really buying basketball packs around this time. These are 07, 08 Fleers. Jared Jack. Yet again, another kind of funny face card there. This was a really cool find for the PR PC. Carlos Arroyo. You don't really see too many of his base cards because, for one, he didn't have a lot of base cards, but even in the sets that he did have base cards, people just don't list them anywhere. I'm sure they're sitting in people's comment boxes. Bruce Bowen, solid role player for those Spurs teams. Some might say he was a bit of a dirty player. That's a cool one with the 86-87 Fleer design. These are a couple of Fleers from 04-05. Again, never bought any of these. You got Jason Williams, White Chocolate, and Damon Jones, who I think is one of the guys that was involved in that big gambling scandal. So yeah, a few more and then we'll wrap up basketball. I just liked a lot of these, so I wanted to show them. So there's some tops from 07-08. Same as the baseball design from that year. Monte Ellis, who was quietly a really good scorer, but nobody was really paying attention to the Warriors during that time. It's a cool shot on that Zach Randolph. And same there on that TJ Ford, some pretty good photography. And you got Rasheed Wallace back there. And from that set, here's like a retro parallel or insert. Yao Ming. Here's a really nice Topps Chrome from that year. KG. Really nice, clean looking chrome. Here's a Bowman Chrome Carmelo that I know I don't have. And a Joe Smith Upper Deck. Kind of an odd choice to have that be the photo for his card. Like, he's getting smothered there, he's getting blocked. There's no way he was gonna do anything there. So yeah, kind of weird that they chose that for his card. And then we'll finish with this one, a really nice D Wade insert. So that was some of the basketball. I'll show a few of the football ones. Just some Giants PC stuff. I like that. Larry Zonka could qualify for the next Mount Stashmore. Nice Kerry Collins. Been wanting to get some more Kerry Collins in a Giants uniform. I have some thoughts on Kerry that I'll share when I show my Giants QB binder. And some of the modern Giants. I need to get some more of these current roster guys. Nice Malik Neighbors. But yeah, I haven't gotten a lot of the newer guys the past few years. But I'm actually liking their roster a bit again. Looking forward to next season more than I have any of the recent seasons. I don't know how many more wins they'll get, but I think their games at least will be a lot more fun to watch. Here's a really cool looking Kadarius Toney rookie sweater relic. Unfortunately, he wasn't here very long. It was kind of a head case. And here's some rookies from some of the recent championship winning guys. Steve Smith, I know for sure I don't have that score. And Sonoris Moss, who I'm pretty sure was on the roster for that team the first time they beat the Patriots, but I don't think he even got on the field that entire playoff run. Brother of Santana Moss, who was a much better player. Yeah, Jeremy Shockey, he was injured for most of that first run against the Patriots and was not even here at all for the second time they beat the Patriots. This was a really good trio of running backs they use. Brandon Jacobs, Derek Ward, and Ahmad Bradshaw. They nicknamed them Earth, Wind, and Fire. I love that nickname, and they used them to perfection. Here are a couple of the defensive guys from those last two Super Bowl teams. Matthias Kiwanuka and OCU Manura rookie. Love getting rookies of any of the guys from those teams. And not a rookie, but cool looking OC there. Not even sure what product that is. It's from Topps, but definitely never ripped any of that. And I always love seeing this one. This Plaxico making the go-ahead touchdown catch late in that Super Bowl. I did a response a long time ago talking about that moment. I forget who the response was for, but yeah, I just talked about it being one of my favorite sports memories ever. My brother and I threw a big Super Bowl party, and there were like 15 of us crammed into the living room, and when Plaxico made that catch, we all went crazy. It's one of those moments that just stays with you forever. And this guy was not on any of those Super Bowl teams. He retired a bit too early. Tiki Barber. But still one of the Giants that I collect the most. And another one of the Giants that I collect the most, Michael Strahan. I know I don't have this Threads. I gotta check this old Stadium Club. And of course the QB from those Super Bowl teams. Eli, nice optic. I like that upper deck set. That's 09 upper deck. And then two different ones from this 08 Thread set. Got the base. And got this nice football relic. Number to 250. It says the enclosed piece is from an authentic football used by Eli in an official game, so I guess we gotta believe them that they're being truthful about that. And a couple more Eli base cards. Gotta check these, don't know if I have them. Haven't looked at my Eli binder in a while. And then just a few for baseball and we're out of here. Just wanted to show a decent amount of this stuff before I start to put it away. In all likelihood later today. Got a bunch of these Babe Ruth cards, which I gotta check because I am working on this set and the inserts, so hopefully there's a decent amount in there that I need. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones from that set. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing that many. I was missing like around 10 or so last I checked. And then a couple of Darryls. Pretty sure I don't have that Bazooka. I mean, I should have the 86 tops, but you never know. Sometimes I'm surprised at some of that stuff from that era that I don't have. And a Butch Husky. Solid player for a few years. Could have benefited if there was a DH in the National League around that time. Wasn't a great fielder. There's one for the PRPC. Ramon Castro. Decent backup catcher for like 8 different teams. And then a really sweet find in here is Doc Gooden Elite Series. Never pulled one of these. Never even saw somebody pull one of these. This is the first time I've ever held one. Number to 10,000, but a lot of you know those were really tough to pull. So very sweet find there. So thanks, Robert. Great stack. Right up my alley. I was almost done putting away the Ovation cards from the other day, so now I have a fresh new variety of stuff to work on. And I love it. Again, keeps me busy in a good way. And I know some of my newer viewers might not know JustDaBears. Check out some of his videos. Legitimately some of the best commentary you're going to find on YouTube card videos. So I'm going to go get to work on these and hope to talk to you all again soon.